Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
And now comes the concept of vendor credits. You also brought up the returns process, right? There will be situations where you might need to, send out goods back to your vendor. Like if they were incorrectly shipped, if they were faulty, or there could be multiple reasons for incorrect shipment, right? In that particular case, you will be sending out the goods back to the vendor and the vendor will be issuing a vendor credit. Let's see how that process would look like in that suite whenever you send out goods to the vendor. Alright, I'll again go back on the same purchase order document, that from which we started this whole process. That is, a utilization process is not applicable for. Is it applicable for service in the servicing industry? IT industry. I think it is no. In the IT businesses, there is no physical goods involved. You don't really need to create a return authorization, but you can directly create a vendor credit. Vendor credit is something that can be created directly as well. But if you are engaged in a physical business where you physically receive goods from vendor, in that case, there will be a situation where you have to physically ship back the goods to the vendor as well. In that case, VRA or vendor return authorization is applicable. But if you are in a service-based industry where there is no movement of goods required, you can directly create a vendor credit. I'm just going to show you the whole process from the return cycle. And then we will come on the vendor credits. Let's assume that we covered this whole receiving process. We paid to the vendor and then for some reason, later, a week later, or maybe, 2 or 3 days later, we identified that the goods were not, of good quality. The ones with, that we expected to be received from the vendor. What we can do is we can come back on the same purchase order document and there is this button called authorized return. I'm going to click on that and I will now initiate my return process. This is going to open up my vendor return authorization page. This is a standard vendor return authorization page. And notice that everything is going to be pre-populated from the PO transaction. You don't really have to do any sort of data entry. Everything is pre-populated. This is being created from the PO document and you will notice that your item is also over here. Now, let's say you receive 10 items from the vendor, but out of 10, there were only 3 items that were, of not good quality. You can also change the quantity to 3 as well. There is this option available on the vendor return where you can change the quantity as well. For the sake of demo, let's assume that the complete shipment or the complete batch was incorrect. And I'm going to select 10 over here. There is a custom field, perhaps. Alright, I'm just going to save this. I think there is a custom field created which is mandatory. Excuse me. Repeat the whole process. Oh, by the way, you don't really have to worry about what I'm trying to do here. This is just some, testing that somebody has created many fields. I have to just, enter this before I can save it. Alright, now this vendor return authorization is going to be saved. Alright, and notice that the status is now pending return. Once this VRA is entered, the next step is going to be returning the goods back to the vendor, meaning that our warehouse team will physically pick up the goods and will ship it back to the vendor. How to do that? You can simply click on the return button over here on the top. I'm going to be closing all these extra tabs. And this is going to be opening up in item shipment page for us, right? This is a shipment that we are doing for the vendor. This is an item shipment page. Notice in the last, when we were doing the receipt, we had an item receipt page. But this is an item shipment page because we are physically sending out goods back from our location. Again, the warehouse team will validate all the information here. They will see the item. They will verify the quantity. And they will also select the location from which they are shipping back the goods. Let's say San Francisco, US. And we'll save this record. And again, this is all relevant for the scenarios where you have physical movement of goods and tangible goods involved. If not, you will not be doing all these steps. Alright. Notice that your vendor return authorization is now in pending credit status. Once the goods are shipped back to the vendor, the next step would be the vendor issuing you the vendor credit. Once that is issued, you would just come back on this VRA and simply click on refund. And this is going to open up the vendor credit standard vendor credit form for you. And again, everything is pre-populated from the VRA document. All you need to do is just verify the information. Just validate the items, quantity, rate, and simply save this. Now this is the transaction that you would be creating manually in the case where you are in a service or software business and you're receiving any credits from your vendor. But in our case, we use the return process to come on this page. But in that particular case, you would just be doing this standalone. You could go in transactions, payables, and enter vendor credits. This is the navigation that you would follow. And you would again come back on the same form that we are standing over here. But at this point, you have to enter all the details manually because there is no source transaction, right? But in this case, we had a source transaction. Everything was pre-populated. That's the major difference between the two processes. I hope this clears your question and answers you know about the. Alright, awesome. Once we validate this, we will simply save this record. This note or this credit memo is now saved. And this is something that can be applied on any future invoice against this vendor. Meaning that whenever I do any future purchases with this vendor, instead of paying to the vendor, I will directly apply this credit memo on the invoice. Right? Let me really do that process for you. If I go back on the vendor bill, I'm just going to make a copy of this vendor bill to show you how the payment would look like in this scenario. I'm just going to click on make a copy. Alright. I'm just going to give a reference number here. And I will enter all the same details and save this. And now if I go on the make payment option, the only thing that I wanted to show you here is, you see that there is this debit note already showing up. Now what I will do is, instead of paying this bill, I will simply apply this debit note. Notice that my amount payable amount is now going to be 0 because I'm applying that credit memo on this invoice. Does that make sense? Instead of making an actual payment, exactly, we are just applying the previous credit memo on this vendor bill and making a 0 payment. That's all. Yes, alright, yes. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.